Hi, Maria. I'm so honored to be doing this interview. I can't even tell you.
It is so good to see you again.
Good to see you. Considering that we are celebrating World News Day, we're amongst friends. I want my first question to be, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, strangely enough, right? I mean, there are good times, there are bad times, depends on which minute you ask me. But I think what I've learned a lot is anger management and how to turn lemons into lemonade. That's the other lesson.
I want to bring up our personal connection because we met in Manila so many years ago, just as you were beginning to launch Rappler. And I remember how excited you were at the time of the concept of online news and this idea that we could exchange information in real time, that we could get a sense of how people were feeling about issues. How has your perspective changed? And do you have warnings for that, Maria, circa 2012?
No, if I had it all to do, if I had to do it all over again, I would do exactly what I've done. I mean,
Mm.
except for me, remember how I tried to convince you to stay in the Philippines?
Mm.
I'm glad you didn't listen to me. um, but
I've been watching very closely.
well, look, back then we were very excited about technology, how technology was the enabler. So, and that's when we started Rappler, the growth of Rappler was hinged on how we made investigative journalism combined with technology and community. We built communities of action. That was the goal of Rappler. Um, so you can say that I drank the Kool Aid. I believed in the power of social media, the power of social networks on steroids. Uh, we didn't see the danger signals until 2015, 2016. And in 2016, that was really when the dominoes began to fall. The first domino was the Philippines, the election of Duterte in May. A month later was Brexit. And then it just kept going, right? All the way through the election of Trump, blah, 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 all the way. And I think, we've just realized that social media, which we thought was going to be this enabler, has become it's the main tool in the toolbox of digital dictators, and it has enabled the rise of digital authoritarians all around the world, and it has become today a behavioral modification system that essentially takes everything that we put into it, translates it to data, machine learning into artificial intelligence, and then knows you better than you know yourself, takes your most vulnerable moment and sells it to anyone who will pay, whether that's a company or a country. And with this kind of ecosystem, it turned everything upside down because with the choices the tech platforms have made, lies laced with anger and hate spread faster than facts. And if you don't have facts, I think, we saw all the dangers 2016, 2017, 2018. Without facts, you can't have truth. Without truth, you can't have trust. Without facts, you cannot have democracy. And that's dawning on everybody today. But, what I've lived through in the last 4 years is really seeing how alternate realities come to be, how lies first with social media, then with weaponizing the law, how that can make uh, a journalist a criminal. That's really, that was seeded in 2016, in 2017. So these exponential bottom up attacks. And then President Duterte comes top down in 2017. A week later, I get the first subpoena. 2018 was the weaponization of the law. 11 cases filed against me and Rappler. 2019, arrest warrants, 8 of them, arrested and then detained. And then 2020, June 15th, I and a colleague, a former colleague, were convicted. Journalist equals criminal in 2016, journalist equals criminal in 2020, which is real. I know my reality. I'm not a
Mm.
criminal, but that's how dangerous it's become, and that's what social media has helped create.
I think I speak for journalists around the world when I say that we stand with you. You've had such a front row seat to all of this, and you explain it so eloquently. Do you think that the average reader, or citizens trying to kind of inform themselves about this complicated world, do you think they understand and understand it the way you understand it?
I think normal people will kind of realize that the world is toxic. They want to shut down from social media. It's almost like you've been told that the inner demon in you can come out. You can unleash it. And that toxicity, everybody realizes. Women are attacked far more than men, right? And anyone who, I guess, the kinds of exponential the propaganda warfare, people see that also. I think the other part that people don't see is how the social media platforms have built divisiveness into their design, and that's this whole us against them thinking, right? And that's extremely dangerous because it's literally pulling our societies apart, and that's the reason why facts have become so debatable.
And I know we're running into time now here, but the theme is press freedom. This is something that we value as journalists. How do we get everybody to value this? What's the battle cry?
I mean, Chris, when you don't have facts, when you are battling for facts, journalists are at the front line. Journalism becomes an advocacy in a battle for truth. And so now more than at any other time, by next year, I'll have been a journalist for 35 years. I'm old. I've never been under attack as much as I am today, just for doing my job. It is worse than a war zone. It's worse than any conflict zone. And I guess that brings it home. That is the conflict zone. That is the war zone. The war is for facts. So please stand up, go to the facts. Try not to get manipulated emotionally. If you feel yourself getting angry by something, chances are there's manipulation that goes there. Stop and think. Stop thinking fast and think slow.
Oh, that's a battle cry if I've ever heard one. Maria, thank you for your courage. Thank you for holding the line, as you repeatedly say, and we stand with you.
Thanks for having me, Chris.